Let's do it. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Keith Allen Jr. I want to welcome you to Real Estate Talk. Today we'll be talking about why I got into real estate. But before we do that, I want to say, arrest the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor.
Yeah. Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo, look. Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Snap out 2 racks on handmade.
Honestly, I got into real estate because I was looking for something where I could make as much money as I want to make, and I don't have to work for anybody, honestly. I got a degree in business, but I didn't really care about using that because that involves corporate. And I understand that to become wealthy, you have to own something. To help the community out, you have to own something in the community. That's real simple for it. If you're just renting, the way to get you out the city is that the landlord just raised the rent. Once the landlord raised the rent, and you're out the city, so you can't help the community. So I got into real estate for the money, of course. That's one of the reasons. Of course, the money is great and everything, but another reason was to help my people. Specifically, we're lagging as far as owning real estate. We don't understand how easy it is to own real estate for whatever reason, but that's why I got into the business, to teach and educate our people. Not only do we need to do it, but it's our responsibility to do it. We need to make sure we do this not only for us, but for our kids, our grandkids, and everything. One specific reason is that I didn't know how to buy a house until I got into the business and my daddy owned a house. That's not supposed to be right. That's completely wrong. That's completely the other way around. Everybody else, they learn that stuff very early, and for some reason, our community, we learn it late.
Yeah. Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.
So I grew up in Compton, California, and we would rent all the time. Because when I was a kid, I didn't understand why we were moving from place to place. And I don't blame my mama. She did her best. She had 3 boys growing up in Compton, California. She did the best she could. So we just would move seemed like every 6 months we would be moving. And we end up at Granny house. And there's a funny story about my granny. My granny, she lived in Compton for 22 years. She paid rent to a landlord for 22 years. And me and her did the math. That's over $300,000 she gave to somebody that she'll never see again. So that's one of the things I always knew there's something wrong with that. I couldn't understand why my granny was paying this other person to live somewhere. And I didn't know what that was as a kid, and as I got older, I understood that's ownership. I got into real estate for ownership, majority ownership, because I have a 2-year-old son, and the last thing I want him to do is be paying somebody else college tuition, paying somebody else bills, medical bills, whatever. I want him to be his own boss and to own his own property. So that's the major reason why I got into real estate. It's funny because as a kid, I would always be thinking beforehand. I always think further than what the present was. I always knew there was something more out there. Didn't know what it was, didn't know where I was going, but for some reason, I always knew it was more. And as a kid, my friends thought I was crazy because I was speaking what I know now is generational wealth. I always was speaking, we need to do our own thing, we need to own our own thing, and they was like, man, we don't know what you're talking about right now. We just want to play basketball. And I was like, man, it's got to be more out there in the world. And now I know it's generational wealth. That's what it was, and that's what I live. I wake up, I go to sleep. That's all I think about is generational wealth. Not just for my son, but for my nephews, my nieces, my little cousins, my mom, my granny. It's not too late for them. I just want to make sure everybody understands that it's our job, it's our responsibility to take care of the next generation. And I'm going to do my part no matter what to take care of the next generation, or I'm going to die trying.
Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah.
Another thing about real estate, community empowerment. There's nothing better than owning your own block. We always say we're from the hood and all that stuff, but we don't own anything. So like I said before, they can easily ship us out. And that's what they do. They just raise the prices and ship us out. And we gotta go to other neighborhoods. But what we can do, guys, we can come together and own real estate. I'm huge on my people. I'm big on community empowerment. I'm big on teaching us what we don't know. It's my responsibility because I got the game to teach the game to somebody else. If I didn't, then I'd be a sellout. So I had to make sure that I do my part to take care of my people and my community. I can take care of everybody else, but first I got to take care of my people. Starting with Compton, California, that's where I'll start, and I'll move forward from there. So yeah, guys, that pretty much sums up why I got into the business of real estate. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, peace to the community.